It's 5 o'clock. Is it a good time?
It's 5 o'clock on a Saturday.
Go.
Hey everybody! Welcome to the PowerCast, live with you every Tuesday night. A very exciting show, as you may have seen and heard about. We have Rachel Boucher from a company that's very important to know. It's called Payless Payment Solutions. I want to make sure I get it right. But before we get this show
LLC.
started, LLC.
Yes.
Before we get this show started, as you all know, make sure you go to our social media. Go to YouTube, type in Team Powerhouse Real Estate, hit subscribe. This way you can follow up with us on all our shows we watch every week. Get the new edited version coming out in the weekend. In addition to that, you can follow us on all our social media between Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitter Live. We are live streaming on Twitch and Rumble. What else can you mention me, Eric? I missed anything over here at all?
Yeah, Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Nation. All right, everybody. We're excited to have you all with us today.
He tries to get hip when he goes TikTok. TikTok.
Super TikTok, right? So we have Eric Vasquez to your far right, Dave Lamel here, and Rachel Boucher in the middle. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We are very excited to know about you and your company and your business. So if you out there own any kind of business that accepts a credit card, if you're a restaurant, you're a clothing store, you're a liquor store, you name it, you probably pay a lot of money for the fees you're paying in credit card fees. And those things take away from your bottom line. It's important to know the right people and the right businesses to help you save money and create more money in this life, in this time in our lives, if you will.
You forgot to mention those businesses that take cash.
If
They
you're,
may be avoiding this because they don't know that they can actually save money doing this.
if you're a business that takes cash, you're gonna wanna get to know Rachel very well. So make sure, I'm sure we have her name, her phone number, her email address, even a website for her live for you to see there. Do not forget to take that information down. We'll ask a few questions. If you have a few questions for us out there, please do not hesitate to ask us, and we'll get those questions over to Rachel on the spot.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about you, Rachel. Where are you from?
Well, I'm currently in Plantsville, and if you don't know where Plantsville is, it's a part of Southington,
Southington.
Connecticut. Yes.
Absolutely.
But if you wanted to ask me like where I'm from, I just have to tell you Connecticut. I've lived in a lot of towns growing up.
Were you part of a military family by chance?
My father is Navy.
Awesome. Thank
but
you for your
that's
service.
not why we moved around a
Okay.
lot.
That's maybe personal. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I mean, just, you know, I'm from a, what do they call that, nuclear family where you get divorced, is that the name? But either way,
You're from
we
a
moved.
lot of places in Connecticut.
Yes, a lot of places.
Well, that's
some
good.
of you from different towns may know me from first, third, second, everywhere.
All right. Now, let me ask you a question. You're married?
I am.
What's your husband's name?
Pete.
Hey, Pete. Hope you're watching the show tonight, supporting this very special person right here.
I believe he is.
He's also somewhat involved in your business, would you say?
He is. He's a very good supporter. We've partnershiped up to say he's out and about more than I am. He gets to be,
He's on the front line.
you know, he's a former police officer. He can walk into a place and just connect with you.
Conversations.
Yeah,
Good
I mean, I
people.
can too. Trust me. I've, you know, I'm pretty good at the gift of gab, but he's just out and about more than I am. I have to do a lot of the background
Internal
paperwork,
stuff.
the internal,
Of
yeah,
course,
the things
of
that
course.
make the business tick and talk.
Any kids at all?
We have 7 in total. We're a combined family.
Beautiful.
Mine are grown adults, and I have 4 grandchildren.
Beautiful.
And my husband has 5 children, and they age from, I believe it's 39 all the way down to 8.
Wow.
So yeah, we have a house full.
We got the Brady Bunch in the house.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, we do. And our
love it.
house though, add all the grandkids in every other weekend, and
Holidays are a fun time. Birthdays.
25 to 30 people.
Yeah, I would say so at least.
Yeah, yeah. Now you get
I was
spouses.
at one of the events, and it was
Yes.
quite a family affair. And you have a great family, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And that's how I got to know Rachel, was actually at a family function. I got to ask her some questions and find out what she's involved in doing. And when I found out about her company, I said, "Oh my gosh, she's got to come on the podcast." You were not a little excited about it. You're nervous at first, right?
Yes.
But let me tell you something, this special woman here is going to help make a huge difference in your life financially. So stay tuned, ask questions, and let's get into it. All right, Rachel. So the company is called, and I want to make sure I say it correctly. I look at this
Okay.
paper. Payless Payment Solutions, PPS, right?
Yes.
All right. So, what steps? I wrote these questions down with some help. What steps does a credit card go through?
Well, okay. Now, people think they know those steps, but let me explain how it happens. So the merchant is selling you a product and you run your card. So the first thing is the business accepts your card, correct? Everybody knows how that works.
Makes
You walk
sense.
up, you slide it, you tap it, however the method you're taking it. Then the terminal that you process your card on sends that information to what's called your payment processor. Thank you. Hi, I'm your payment processor. And then from there, the payment processor, I transmit that to the processor network. That's your Visa, your MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. What happens with there, I have my little notes too because I was nervous.
You're doing a
I'm
great job.
I'm a human being. We're all gonna
You're
be
good.
a little nervous.
The notes are important.
Yes. Then after that, the payment network contacts your issuing bank. So if you got your credit card from ABC Bank, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, they're going to turn around and contact the issuing bank and verify that you have the funds to be able to cover what you're buying.
Gotta make sure you have the money.
Yep, gotta have the money. And then the business either receives the fact that you either got declined, but you didn't have the money, or approved. Hey, yay, Ray, you're a great person, you pay your bills. Then after that, the money is now deposited into the merchant's bank, the business that you bought it from, usually next day, depends on your type of business, but we say next day. Can you imagine all those steps? They happen, now you've been there, you've stood there in front of a terminal.
In a matter of 10 seconds.
Matter of seconds.
Wow.
And it's done. All of that goes through.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
I never knew, I'm sure none of you guys ever knew what exactly happens other than when you swipe, click, or push inside your phone, your iPhone that does what do you call that when you do the phone thing?
Apple Pay?
Yeah,
Apple Pay?
Apple Pay, Google Pay.
Apple Pay, Google Pay, you just pay, and all those processes that happen, and I'm happy you asked that question because I never would have thought all the things that are happening behind the scenes in a matter of seconds. Now, as you said, if you don't have the money, insufficient funds, boom, it shows up insufficient. I never understood how fast the machine knows that. It's pretty crazy. Not that I've had that problem personally before, but good to know how this process works. So now, step 2. What should you know? What should a merchant know about their rate?
Okay, well, rates,
Are you merchants are paying attention? This is important to pay attention to what's going on over here.
so you have your rate, which is a percentage taken out of the total transaction, okay? So you have your rate that's taken out, and then you have a transaction fee that's taken out. That's in addition to your rate.
That's for the business.
Yes, the business does.
Yes.
I'm not talking about consumer rates. You
Right.
all know, you have your rates. Everybody gets different rates by the credit card companies
Yes.
based on your credit history. We're talking the business side of things, not the consumer side. So the transaction fee is a fee per transaction. So every card you swipe also gets charged just to swipe that card. Not necessarily how much you're swiping it for, but I can swipe it for a penny. I'm going to still pay a transaction fee. Then you need to know what your net effective rate is. And this is where a lot of merchant service providers like myself, not myself actually, because we're honest and trustworthy and we're very transparent. We tell you everything, we show you everything.
As the company who works with the businesses.
Correct. Whereas let's say another company might come in there and they say, well, we're going to give you a rate of this, and I'll explain to that later. But that rate's really not your true net effect rate. You want to take your rate that you're getting plus your fee, divide it by the transaction amount, and now you have your true rate. So you always want to pay attention to that because that's where you can get duped by other companies who are telling you, oh, you're paying 2%. No, you're not. Because you have the rates, you have the Visa MasterCard charge that's already there that nothing changes. That's whether I sell it to you or you go to somebody else. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover, they charge what they charge. None of us is going to change that. We're talking about the rates that are in addition to those. You also have your miscellaneous other monthly fees. So figure sometimes some of them, I love some of the names they give some of these things, security software suites.
What is that?
Don't know.
That's called a filler fee for a little bit more money for the
It
company.
is. It is. And all of that goes into the pocket of your processor, your payment processor. Now we do have a monthly fee. Your monthly fee is so that you can have the account with the bank, get your statements, and they manage all your
And
background.
that fee amount, you're gonna know what it is.
You do, we lay it right out there, it's $20 a month, done.
That's not
And
much
your
at all.
your business is gonna depend on what you do for business, what your risk levels are. Everything has their little, we have our standards and then you have your little one-offs. But we'll show you everything. This is what it is, this is where it should be, and by the way, this is what you're paying with this guy, and I have no idea what that means. Matter of fact, my entire team didn't know what that meant. But you will have a PCI fee, and that is something you do need to watch out for. A PCI.
PCI, what does PCI stand for?
Oh, you're gonna ask what it stands for?
Sorry.
Processor compliance information. I
It's a
believe.
fee that costs you money.
It's a fee that costs you money that you can avoid. And it is there with every processor. The deal with that is, it's because you have to keep, you're taking a credit card from somebody. Look at all the fraud that's out there, right?
Yes.
You need to prove that you're secure with those cards and how you're managing those cards. Whether or not you're keeping card numbers in a system because you're billing all the time with a POS system, or you're just the guy with the small terminal, you still have to complete the PCI compliance. With our company, the one thing that we do is we will actually help you with all of that paperwork, send it off to you, you review it, you sign it, and it's good for a year. Then you don't get a PCI fee. If you don't do it, they can range anywhere from $25 a month up to hundreds, depending on the company that you're with.
And by the way, again, if you're out there and have questions, you own a business or thinking about owning a business, this is very important information to ask these questions. We have Thane in the background who's watching you on Instagram and Facebook, and TikTok. If you have questions, please raise your hand, put them out there, let us know what they are so we can try and help you out the best we can to answer those questions.
So I have a question. So is Square a payment processing company as well, or no?
Well, Square in my industry is a swear, just to let you know that.
Square is a swear. So if
Square
you have
is a swear.
If you have Square, not a good idea. You're gonna learn why right now.
Let me teach you a little bit about Square. So Square is obviously a big conglomerate of
Have you advertised this company
yes,
everywhere?
Square, Clover, and there's a whole bunch of those. They're large corporations, but here's the deal with them. They're a payment aggregator, which means you don't have a merchant account. A merchant account gives you stability. It gives you the ability to really fight back on these chargebacks if you get any. They're just structured to better protect the merchant. Square, basically, at any point, any time, can cut you right off. Done. They just, for whatever reason.
Wow.
This would be like, now you're in real estate, so I'm gonna give you an analogy.
No
Okay?
pressure
Let's
here.
work that way. You have somebody who wants to buy a house, you move them into the house. You don't even have the mortgage done.
Yes.
Right? The mortgage hasn't even been approved yet.
That's not possible.
Celebrating the release.
I said, we're doing an analogy here. I didn't say reality, I said analogy.
I
So,
like it.
you move them into the house, it's a $5 million home, it's beautiful, they're happy, they love you.
I'm loving when they love
Okay?
me.
You're Square right now.
I'm not so square.
But that's, you're Square.
I'm square.
I don't mean to call you Square, I'm not
That's all
trying to
good.
offend. So, all of a sudden, 6 months down the road, you realize, you don't vet them, of course, at the beginning, right?
They
Vetting means you didn't
can't get a
prove,
mortgage.
make sure. Now they can't get a mortgage. You gotta move them out. You know what? You just say, I'm done with you, done, boom, and you move all your stuff to the curb. That's what Square does to you. If all of a sudden they decide they don't like your business model, something you didn't complete an audit, which by the way, I've heard if you're in the high risk, they'll audit you once a month. I just heard that, don't quote me, but I've heard that from somebody who has it, and matter of fact, threw them out, and we're working on them because they're getting audited all
we have
the
ghosts,
time.
by the way,
We have
sometimes.
ghosts.
Yeah.
They tend to follow
You
me.
get
Yes.
visited, yeah.
They like me. And there's their noise.
There's the growl.
So here's something also about Square. I want
Yes.
to tell you, we were talking about rates and pricing. Now, I had to do this on this because I can't math, I don't do well in my head. That's why I have a team and computers and calculators. Square tells you you have a rate. They give you a 2.7 rate, okay? Flat 2.7, they call it flat rate, that's how they work. And 10 cents per transaction. Remember I
Oh.
told you, you get a rate, everybody gets a per transaction. Everybody gets it.
Okay.
Everybody can set what they want
Okay.
for the most part. So you have 2.7 as your rate and 10 cents every time you swipe. Debit cards included. Yeah, that's basically stealing from you because debit cards are technically considered like cash and you should only be paying literally 0.005%. Like debit cards should not, you have a small fee just to make the transmittal and that's it. And a per transaction.
Interesting.
Now, remember when I talked about net rate?
Yes, net
Okay.
rate.
Net rate. Who's good at math? And he's looking at the card, so he already knows the answer.
I don't know the
I'm
answer.
alright
to
with
those.
math, let's go.
So,
Let's try.
I swipe
Okay.
$100.
Yes,
I'm your customer. I swiped $100, and you're paying 2.7 cents
yep,
plus 10 cents.
okay.
What did you just lose out of that 100?
12.7 cents.
You just lost $2.80 out of $100, right?
Holy shnikes.
Because it's 2.7%
Yep,
plus 10 cents. Divide that by 100,
which
which
one?
is what
We-
you- the
Divide
sale.
what number?
the $2.80.
Divided by 100?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
28 cents.
Now you're paying 2.8 cents. 2.8% is your rate.
2.8 cents.
2.8% is your
Percent,
rate.
yes.
But didn't they quote you 2.7?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
2.7 plus the 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I come in, I only do $50. Let's do this math. You're-
I should have drank before the podcast, by the way.
Do it at, you get your .027, which is your 2.7%, plus
What?
10 cents
0.07 plus 10 cents.
is $1.45. I won't make him do the math because I'm afraid things.
$1.45, okay.
It's $1.45.
Yes.
Divide that by $50, which was the total transaction. 2.9%.
Oh, wow.
But they quoted you 2.7.
But no one will ever know, and they can't pay, they can't
Right.
follow. This is some quick math she's talking out loud. You have a machine that's swiping, and the percentages, and then you get a dollar amount, and you're just paying it, not realizing how much money you're losing.
Just to sticker shock you, on a $20 sale, you just paid 3.2%.
No kidding.
When you were told 2.7, and you think you're paying 2.7.
So a restaurant who's got transactions of hundreds of dollars per transaction, you go out to dinner, 50, 60, 100, 150, $200, that makes a big difference per transaction. You might do 500 reservations in a night, that's a lot of money you're losing.
Or the small guy who's running $10, $12. He's actually paying a real high percentage rate.
We have clients who own clothing stores like Camouflage in North Haven, a fantastic place to buy your clothes. Women, you love that place. It's an amazing place to go to. They have a transaction credit card machine. I don't know if I'm going to reach out to Puff and find out from her what she's using. There are great restaurants in New Haven you go to, whether they're pizza restaurants. All of New Haven is pizza, right? And you have also the most best Italian restaurants out there, like Il Gabbiano and La Lupa and Adriana's. I gotta find out if these places know about this credit card machine application and what's going on over here.
Well, the other problem is they're reporting.
Not to mention, you have inspection companies we work with, like
Oh, yeah.
Eric, help me out over here.
Pillar to post, Miranda team.
The Miranda team, right? So Miranda team, I wonder what they're using for credit card processing. A lot of people we know, a lot of people we give business to, that's very important for these companies to identify. And you out there who own a restaurant, own a business, it's important for you to make sure and pay attention. Maybe it's a good time to reach out to Rachel and ask these questions. I have a lot more questions for you, by the way.
And we'll be more than happy to give you an analysis
All right.
of what you're doing, just
Yes.
so you know. And you don't get reports from Square like you should. Like our reports, it's black and white. You know exactly what you're paying. And if you, for some reason, don't understand it, you just give us a call and we'll go through it with you.
I got a buddy named Rob Marcarelli who runs Liv's Oyster Bar in Old Saybrook. They also, in that beautiful restaurant, and they have Liv's Shack, the lobster shack over there. I mean, these are places that this would make a huge difference at their places, their businesses, that you can help them out. Just throwing out a little,
Well, it gives us,
Shout out.
gives us some perspective on why there are some businesses that refuse to do credit cards and just do cash.
absolutely. Well, I wonder if Premier, a liquor store in Cheshire, if they know about this. These are all these different businesses that we serve all the time and work with. You guys out there, you own a business, you want to make sure, if I'm taking credit cards, which you hope you are because everybody uses a credit card. I never keep cash on me today. Hardly ever. Maybe I have $50 on me, $20, I don't know, whatever. Most of everything's a credit card because I want my miles, right?
Or points.
So, or points. You want to make sure if you're a business out there, you will take the public and make sure that you're getting that business and make sure you have a credit card machine application solution for your business that's not just taking all your money away.
Right.
But you're also helping the restaurant if you're paying cash.
That is true.
You take out the cash, take out $300 before you go to
But I don't have any.
Adriana's.
No, it's not going to happen. You know
No?
why? Because I want my miles, I want my points. That's why I need to have the credit card machine. And then I can't write off cash. I need to have
You get a
credit card.
receipt.
You know.
I know, you're not a
Well-
big believer in receipts.
I'm a big believer in receipts, but I'm a big believer in credit card. All right. So, what is a traditional processing?
So traditional processing is pretty much how we just talked about it. It's called interchange plus. And what that means is you get a rate, a per transaction fee, and then you, the merchant, pays that entire fee. So out of your every $100, you're paying whatever your rate plus transaction fee is. It doesn't get deposited. You lose that. You're paying that fee.
So does that come out at the time of the transaction, or does that come out at the end of the month?
End of the month. So what
End of the month.
Yep. So if you did $1,000 at the end of the month, it's gonna be $1,000 less whatever your rate was that you're now paying with your process.
By the way, Southington, known as Pizza, beautiful pizza place. Great guy, Ace. Might want to walk into his place and see if that might be something he might need to use as well. Throwing out a little shout out. Some of our guests have been on the show before, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So do the higher end businesses that bring in like much larger purchases, do they get a rate, like a lower rate on this stuff?
Well,
Let's say a Jaguar dealer, let's say, that they're gonna sell, something on a card.
absolutely. Your rates are based on the type of business you are, how much you're processing, and your credit history. So let's say you file bankruptcy, you're probably gonna pay more than the guy who has better credit.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a way of life.
If you file a bankruptcy, you may not have a credit card.
Well, the consumer probably won't.
Right.
But
Talking about the business.
Yes.
Even the businesses still can get them. They just takes a little bit more work, a little bit more
Oh, wow.
documentation, and obviously.
That's a great question you
Yeah.
asked, Eric. Wow.
Yeah.
I think with the actual consumer, you're actually the business side.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very smart. Very, very smart.
And the thing is with the cash, like you were talking cash stores, and they're doing it because they want to pay the fees.
Mhm.
Well, nationally, they used to be able to surcharge. So you used to be able to say, if you pay by credit, I'm going to charge you this percentage over or a flat fee over. Some states, like Connecticut, it's illegal to do that. Connecticut is, I think we're down to 2, but don't quote me on that. But I know Connecticut definitely is one of them because this is where the majority of my business is. You cannot surcharge. So if you walk into a business and you see, I paid $5 and now non-cash adjustment or convenience fee, they're doing it illegally, improperly. They may not even know that. So don't yell at the merchant owner. He probably doesn't know that he's doing it.
Huh.
He doesn't know that that's what the rules are. They're supposed to know, but that's part of my job is to make sure I explain to you why you can or cannot do something. As of April 15th, dual pricing came out.
Interesting. So what is dual pricing?
So dual pricing is what was referred to as cash discounting before, with a twist. I mean, that's the best way to explain it.
The twist.
With the twist. The twist is your receipts now have to show what the credit card price was and the cash price was. And it gives your consumer the option at that point to pay either or. You see it at a gas station, right?
Mhm.
They have them all the time. They've
Yes.
always been able to do that. They used to actually be surcharging in a sense. Now they really have to post the credit.
Do you
And-
work with gas stations as well?
I do not currently have a gas station. They're very expensive to swap over.
Interesting.
Because you have to get, I mean, how many terminals are in a gas station? Look at every pump is a terminal.
Oh, wow.
Then they've got a terminal, maybe 2, maybe
I never
3
thought about that.
inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
convenience part.
Well,
and then
we'll nix the whole gas
Branding,
station.
right.
All right.
We'll hold off on gas stations right now.
So going back to dual pricing is the way to go. Do you think so?
It is, unless you're a Jaguar dealership. Because if I'm spending 10 grand, I'm gonna make sure that I come with a different method of payment because I don't wanna pay an extra percentage on top of.
At a car dealership's max is typically $5,000 for a credit card you can use on it. I know that because I typically will try and use every bit of the credit card for the
Your points.
deposit to get my points. If I'm spending $5,000, I want the many points I can get.
Yeah, but there are some cars that don't have limits and you could just buy the car.
With the credit card.
Yeah.
You can accept, the problem is the dealerships won't allow you to use the whole, let's just say for example, you have a, I don't know, a black card, and you can afford to spend the $50,000 on the car, the actual dealership won't allow you to put more than $5,000 on the card to buy the car because of what they get charged for it. That's the riff on it.
Because
if you
that's
will.
what they're getting charged for
Yeah.
it.
And then I guess they would charge you more for it. But, so why do you recommend it to be 4%?
Well, we recommend 4% so what you have to do is you have to advertise both prices, okay? And we recommend that you advertise your credit card price at 4% more than your cash price. Your standard price is your credit card price, okay? When the consumer comes, you can say, do you want to pay for cash for that? And then you can deduct what your percentage is, and you know what? They feel like they won the lottery.
I have to ask you a question.
So they're passing the cost down to the consumer.
They are.
Which I don't think is fair in a sense. When you go to a restaurant, if you're getting a bill for $150 for dinner, they want to. So they I'm sorry, if I don't want that. So they're gonna charge you another 4% on the credit card. Or are you saying to me, am I missing it?
No, what they're saying is your spaghetti dinner is $20.
Yes.
That's what's advertised in my menu.
Yes.
You decide you're gonna pay with cash. I'm gonna
Yes.
come back to you and say, oh, you're paying with cash?
Okay,
I'm gonna
drop-
take 4% off.
I'm mixing that whole thing.
It's
You
the
know,
opposite.
I've never been actually asked that question. If I want to pay in cash, if I say 4%.
A lot of like the higher end restaurants don't do the dual
Yeah.
pricing. They're starting to learn more about it now. A lot of them are afraid to.
McDonald's doesn't do that.
No.
Oh, you said higher end, sorry.
Higher, yeah, McDonald's.
I love
they-
it. I love it.
They do enough. I don't think they're even worried about it. But what happens is the customer. So if I walk in and I want to buy this and
Yes.
it's listed for $1.25, I know that's probably a lot more than that, but listed for $1.25, and I get up to the counter and the person says to me, "What do you want to pay? Are you paying cash or credit?" And I say, "Oh, I'm paying by cash." And they say to me, "Oh, well, then I'm gonna take 4% off your bill." I'm like, "Hey, I win."
Wow.
I feel like I just won the lottery. That's awesome. Usually they go, "Oh, there's a different price," and you say yes because we discount our customers for paying by cash.
I was gonna say because they can't charge you more with a credit card,
No.
right? Because it's funny. We just had this conversation with the agents in our office that she went to a restaurant and they literally said to her, if you're paying with a credit card, you have to pay 4% more. And she was irate about it. I was actually shocked to hear that could happen. That's why I missed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yada,
And
yada. I'm
unfortunately-
happy to hear that's not true.
That owner may not have even known that you can't do that in
It's
Connecticut
illegal,
anymore.
right?
It changed, and I forgot what year it changed.
Okay.
And the problem is, there's a lot of guys, their processors have disappeared.
Yeah.
They don't even know who they
They
are.
need you.
So they need, and I've gone into places and I said, listen, you can't do this. This is illegal. And I've been told to leave. Okay, fine, whatever, we're doing it. Okay, that's fine. I won't do it. My name, my reputation, all of that's on the line. But I'll explain to you dual pricing, and I will be more than happy to do an analysis of what you're spending now to give you an idea of what your fees are.
So doing what you do you have to work with one specific bank, or do you have to work with a group of banks?
We are actually up under what's called Maverick Banking. They're our mother, we'll put it that way, and they're also called Deposit. There's a rebranding. And then with them, they have 4 different banks that we price through that are they're credit card banks. That's what they do. You might have heard of them. One's Axiom Bank, is it
I've heard
named?
Axiom, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we price them out through all 4. So Axiom might be better for you, but not so great for you, depending on your business model and your processing amounts.
Interesting. All right. What if a merchant feels dual pricing isn't for them?
Then I would tell you, we will be more than happy to quote you interchange, which is your traditional pricing, which is, if you're already using that, you're familiar with how it works. We also guarantee that we're gonna beat the rate you're paying. Matter of fact, if we don't, we'll pay you $100.
Did you just hear what you said? She guarantees to beat your price, or she's going to pay you $100.
Yep.
It's worth bringing you in just for the gamble.
Get the analysis done. I tell people all the time, whether you go with me or you don't go with me, it doesn't hurt to know and have somebody else look at what you're doing.
You win 100 if she can't beat you, but she guarantees to beat you, so you win.
Yep. I
It's
don't
a
pay
win.
you if I beat you and you don't go with me, just so you know. Just clarifying that.
Right.
But if I can't beat your pricing, I pay you 100 and I have not
But
written a
if
single
they
check
go
yet.
with you, they're going to get more than
Yes.
$100 in their savings.
Yes, they will save definitely more than 100 over the course of time. with
So
me.
do the companies that come out, like, I don't remember the name of it, I think it was called the Cube? Is it the one where you can swipe?
Oh, yeah, on your phones?
Yes.
Like you can connect some?
Yeah, like
We
there
have
was something
that.
that you could put in the jack and
It's not
swipe.
called Cube, ours is called Swipe Simple.
Okay.
And
Oh,
we have a
but
But there are
couple.
there are different companies that have these things, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do they do they partner the processing, what you do as well, kind of as they're in? It's like, here, you can use this device, right, with your phone or whatever, and we also do the processing like you do.
There are companies out there that do.
They do both, kind of.
they-
right?
and
And
what-
kind of like the devices they're in, you know?
Yes. So for instance, and I tell you to steer clear of this, if you have a rep that sells one system, yeah,
They can only offer you one option.
they offer you one option, they're making all their money up front on selling you the equipment, and then who do you have for service when you're done? They don't care anymore. Yeah, they're getting maybe a little bit trickling in based on your monthly production, but they really don't don't care. They've made that big bang, and they're off to the next guy to make another big bang. Your Clover reps are phenomenal for that. I could sell you a Clover, I just won't do it. I just won't do it. I don't agree with their structure, so I don't. Not trying to bang them. They're really good for certain companies. I've actually walked into a few people and they just love their Clover so much, and I said, okay, thank you. If you ever have any problems, here's my information. If you ever have any questions, give me a call.
I can't understand loving something so much and not opening your eyes. And business today, the restaurant business, the clothing business, all the retail establishments out there, they're hurting. They're hurting, and if you're hurting, you want to find a way to help save a little bit of money here and there, everywhere you can, without it affecting the consumer.
Yes.
Most importantly, so you're able to help a business save money and not hurt the consumer. In the end of the day, if they're saving money, what's going to happen is their price will end up dropping a little lower because they're able to offer that back to the consumer in the end if they wanted to, which is pretty huge. And we would love, I think, most businesses to be in a better shape today, where everything is upside down going on, economically in this restaurants. It's hurting, and these businesses to be able to put money back in their pockets so they don't have to pass it on to us who are out there shopping.
So how did you get into this venture?
Well, he kind of segued that in pretty good. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So there's a little bit of a history. I actually was vice president of national accounts of a skincare company, and we sold to the stores like, the one that starts in Walmart. I'm not allowed to mention their name. I mean, oops, did I? I just did. The one that starts with W. Shh, I did that. You guys didn't hear that. Just put X's across that. And I learned how the big businesses manage their money. And, I got out of that quotas and rat races and all that, but I still have the knowledge of it. I also spent time trying to be an EMT because I'm service orientated. My heart is in helping people. Selling to the W company, I wasn't really helping anybody. I was just helping another company make money. And I wanted to do something else. Well, COVID hit, right? And I started watching Friends. I have friends and family that own businesses. My father owns a
Like the
machine.
show Friends?
Like
No,
a what?
friends and family.
Oh, like
That-
Friends, my friends and
No,
my
no, he
friends.
thought
Like
you-
you, my
He
friends.
thought you started watching binge
Oh,
watching
binge
the
watching
show
Friends.
Friends.
I used to when it was on, and I love that show.
I'm with the song. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
But my friends and family, so my father has a machine shop out of state, but my father has a machine shop. I've got friends that have bars. I have friends that have restaurants. I have, guys that do carpentry. They were all struggling. They were having a hard time. And I couldn't figure out how can I help them? Like, how can I make it so they're not losing? I mean, we all saw what happens to restaurants and bars during COVID.
They're taking a beating. They still are. They're still hurting.
They are, but I said, well, the only way that's going to help them, okay, well, it would be to cut whatever cost you can cut. What do they have to have that can be cut if they have the right information?
You're absolutely right. Because there's not a business out there today that can really survive that doesn't take credit cards, I have to say.
Yeah.
Really, nobody really carries cash on them. It's funny because, and we talked about this earlier in the show, like, Eric, how often do you carry cash on you? Maybe you have a couple dollars in your pocket. Do you carry cash in your pocket? Of course he does.
It's an emergency. It's an emergency bill.
No, I have an emergency
I'm
bill.
lucky I have $20
Right.
every
I have
time.
I have an
It's
emergency.
an emergency
Right.
bill.
More than I do.
Hold on. I have an emergency bill too. It's funny. I used to have 100, and then my son probably asked me for someone to have a 50 left in here. But yeah,
I
I'm
have
keeping
20.
it right. So it's an emergency bill, but that's not going to cover typically what I need to have. That's the emergency situation. The point is, credit cards is what everybody's using today. Hopefully, respectfully, and hopefully with education on how to use cards and pay them off and everything else to build your credit. But the point is, you're right. This is a tremendous feature that every type of establishment. I wonder how many people who are, let's say, painters or contractors, right, that they could actually be a resource for you as well. Because
We love
these
them.
people, right, they want to get your business, but a lot of times it's a cash business. But then you have the option of using a credit card would be tremendously helpful for us and not getting whacked at the same time.
Well, I guess it depends on the service. I mean, if you're going to paint a house and you're going to charge somebody $5,000, not many people have $5,000 in cash that they're
Right.
just going to fork over. So
Right.
it's a lot easier to pay in credit card.
I love that
We're
idea.
talking with a paving company who wants like you were talking earlier about the cube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a couple options for that too. One of them, which is called Swipe Simple, and you can go, and any of his guys can go, and they got the little thing, and they swipe a card payment on the spot.
Mhm.
So 50% down before we start the job, swipe, done. We'll be back in 5 days, we'll finish the job, okay, pay the balance, done. He's got his money now. not a 30 days because now he's chasing somebody for an
Right.
invoice and he's everything else. He really is excited about this. He can't wait. You know, that's the kind of the thing that we look at. Now you're talking about, okay, $5,000, but okay, now you're talking to the partner goes, yeah, but I'm paying $5,000. I'm giving him the deal at $5,000. I can't afford to pay credit card fees on top of it. So you quote them $5,000 plus 4%. So, and I can't do math, but I've already made that caveat here.
$200.
Okay, so you quote the job at $5,200, and they're like, all right, well, the last guy was like $5,100. All right, well, I'll do it for $5,000 if you can pay me cash. Now you're giving me a deal.
Mhm.
Now, is that something that, now, maybe just make sure I don't miss anything here. Is that by not using the credit card machine, or by using your credit card machine, it's less processing fee?
By not using it.
By not using it. And do I sound like I'm stealing money out of my pocket? Absolutely.
You mean
I am.
not putting money in your
Right.
pocket?
I'm not making anything when you sell it by cash.
Right,
But here's the deal. People love convenience.
yes.
And like you said, they don't have $5,000 in cash.
I will pay
Well,
the
that's-
extra for the credit card because I'm willing to earn the miles on my card. And you know, you can actually pay your taxes with a credit card, okay? I was shocked I could do that. You can make payments on your taxes, you owe money with a credit card. They charge you a percentage,
They're allowed to too.
right? But that was one of the things I thought that was pretty amazing. Oh, it's gonna cost me another $100, but I paid whatever, you know? But the idea that is that most people, if they have a chance to use a credit card, they'll use a credit card first over cash.
They will.
Personally, I will. I think most of America is the same way.
I mean, who wants to make a trip to the bank the morning of?
Exactly.
The contractor's coming, so I need to make a trip to the bank. Then I gotta drive with that $5,000 in my pocket to
Right.
the house.
Or
you
you're
know.
writing a check out, that check, who wants to take a check?
Well, I'll say the contractors
They
don't,
don't.
they'll say, well, we're gonna go and we're gonna make sure it's
Deposit,
cleared
right.
and then we'll start your job. Well, I'm
Mhm.
gonna wait 10 days for my job.
I don't know that any contractors take checks anymore.
hardly ever.
I mean, that's something, so it's really a cash type business or a credit card business, and that's where you, the contractor, need Rachel in your life to make your business flow more smoothly, and to make it more convenient for your clients.
We're more than just a terminal or a mobile solution. We have integrations with POS systems that you already have. We can integrate with QuickBooks.
Point of sale, not piece of stuff.
Point of sale. Well, I've walked in, I've seen a few
I
of
saw
those point of
POS.
sales that
I
look
saw
terrible.
POS in the notes and I go, I don't know what this is.
Sorry, I have walked and seen some POSs, but
That's awesome, I love it.
But, you know, we can integrate with QuickBooks, like I said, and lower your processing rate, because QuickBooks keeps, you know, inking you up, we all know that. We do more than just processing, just so you know.
I have a little flyer here that I'm reading off while you mention that.
That bullet is not there anymore.
This one here?
Yeah, no, this one,
The third one?
the buy now, pay later.
Okay.
We're
So
getting a new
additional
partner.
services we offer are payroll/human resources, business funding, and automated recurring invoicing.
Yes,
Pretty cool.
yes.
Okay, super important. So even if you aren't a current business owner, what does someone receive for referring you?
If,
someone?
whether you're a business owner or not, and you refer us out to another company and they start processing with us, we will give you a check for $200 that will walk back into you personally.
Nice.
Now, think about this. You're out there listening to this show. How do you make another $200 a clip? You refer Rachel to a business that you know, and you, whether you're a business owner or not, just made some serious, what they call it, hustle money?
Who does?
The money, you're hustling.
Hi, Adriana's.
Hold on.
Yes.
What's it called? Side hustle? What a side hustle.
Yep.
That's an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Was it 200?
It's $200, we'll walk into you,
I thought it was 100.
no, 100 is if we can't beat your price that you're
$200
quoting.
for referring. Oh, I'm gonna.
Whether you process
Dave's
with us
gonna
or not.
work the phones tonight like you won't believe.
Holy moly! $200 for every business you refer to Rachel.
You gotta before he
That
says it that
closes.
way, yes,
That
that
closes.
closes and processes with us for 3 months. The reason for 3 months is if they're gonna stick with me for 3 months, they're gonna know they love our service and they're gonna stick with us.
That's pretty amazing.
We have not lost an account yet.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
an account that we've boarded sticks with us.
So if you're out there, you own a business, you know a business. This is a girl, a woman. I say girl.
Either way,
woman.
I'm not offended.
You are an amazing person to talk and work with, and somebody that you want to make sure I have her number. So while I have it on the
I was
screen,
just gonna tell you, we should.
Yep. Well,
Number,
it's-
email.
What's your phone number, please, Miss Rachel?
860-650-1223.
Now, all you men out there, just as a reminder, she is married. This is not soliciting Rachel, it's the business specifically.
My husband may show up.
Pete, former cop.
From a
Pete, former police officer, yep.
So
All right, so again, the phone number?
860-650-1223. He got me all flustered.
Now, is there a website to
Email?
find you?
Our website is paylesspaymentsolutions.com. And you can also, if you want to reach me, which is actually one of the best ways of doing it, is to fill out the form that comes up when you start scrolling off the first page, because then it gives me an idea of when I call you back who I'm speaking to, and I'll be able to do it when we know we have time to talk to each other. The other thing is my email. You can either reach us at info@paylesspaymentsolutions.com or rachel@paylesspaymentsolutions.com. I even struggle sometimes with saying it.
Rachel, you were awesome.
Thank you.
You were a fistful of information. I mean, you were like, wow, that was pretty amazing stuff. You really tremendously impressed me and Eric over here for sure. I think we all learned a lot more than we expected about what you do and how you can help out the American business today. And by the way, is it only in Connecticut?
I can do nationwide,
Wow.
but locally, to service you locally and be able to come to your store regularly, definitely we like to stick within Connecticut, but we do process nationwide, doesn't matter.
That's pretty amazing stuff. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this show. Rachel Boucher, Eric Vasquez, and of course, David Lamel. This is the PowerCast, live with you every Tuesday. And the next part of our show, we have a very special tumbler giveaway. So, Mr. in the background,
Yes.
Thane, our new hot and mighty Thane. Thane as in like Thor?
no,
All right, you tell me
two
when
different
to hit it.
names.
Two different names. All right, Thane.
Give me a countdown.
1, 2, 3.
Spin it.
I should have 3, 2, 1, huh?
Yeah.
For a
I didn't
free
know when you were
tumbler.
going to stop. You keep going to 100.
All right.
Dum, 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 dum.
Jody Katz with a K.
Jody
Jody
Katz.
Another one of David's.
I
clients.
know Jody Katz very well. Congratulations, Jody. You're going to win a beautiful tumbler.
Are my clients on there or what?
I think they need to make sure they're getting. By the way, guys, if you want to be on the show, to come on the show, the podcast, let us know. We'd love to have you on. If you own a business, local business, you want to have a chance to advertise yourself, we'd love to have you. But more importantly, if you want to win a free tumbler, as Eric mentioned just now, please reach out to us. Send us a hello, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any one of our social media outlets over there.
Or call Dave's clients and ask him how to get on the wheel.
Or call Eric Vasquez and say you want to get on the wheel. His number, just to shoot out there, is 203-707-9077. And he will get your name on the wheel as well.
What was that number again?
203-907-70. Did I screw it up?
203-707-9077.
I said it the first time right.
You did.
All right. So, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us every Tuesday night. We love having you, being part of your lives. Rachel, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
were awesome. And
Thank you.
want to wish you guys a fantastic week. See you later, everybody. How many viewers do we have on TikTok?
Hold on.
So nice to have this pretty girl in the corner here, huh? She showed up right at the end.